Ari and the Secret of Seasons is about a young girl and her journey to discover the truth behind the mysterious changing of the seasons. Ari picks up the mantle from her missing brother by becoming the guardian of winter. It is up to her to travel across Valdi to the Dome of Seasons and join the Guardian of the Seasons. In the opening of the game, it felt as if I was playing a tribute to the great Disney movie Mulan. Ari isn't allowed to be a guardian, so she decides to cut her hair and dress as her brother in order to sneak out of town. The game starts slow, giving you the opportunity to learn the basics. As I made my way through the land, fighting the rather comical yet somehow lovable hyenas, I found myself enjoying the way you use winter in order to snuff out secrets. The combat isn't overly complicated. Attack with your sword, roll out of incoming attacks, or parry for a nice 1-2 combo. You can use season changes in combat to help dispatch enemies. However, I didn't find the tactic all that useful in most cases. This is where one of my biggest issues reared its ugly head. There is no reward in fighting. No level up, no skills gained, nothing. In order to attain these things, you must find coins that you use to purchase items and upgrades from merchants.
Hard to refuse that kind of enthusiasm. I'd say, don't lose a minute, Ari. Go and kick his booty.
Magdam, wait. You think she can go alone?
Well, she has double jump, right?
But how do you find these coins? Well, by locating chests. Some are easily found, tucked away in a corner. Others are only revealed through solving puzzles. Easy enough, right? You can obtain a small amount of these coins by completing side quests, but they become tedious and more of a distraction. Don't get me wrong though, the combat is alright. It isn't terrible, and a mixture of using the slingshot along with a sword is fun. It just isn't rewarding. The story progression in the game was something that really surprised me. While the game does start off slow, once the story throws in a few twists, I began to enjoy it so much more. The dialogue can be silly and downright comical at times. Some of the cutscenes even have voiceover, while the other times you get a laugh or an oddly placed grunt. To me, this added to the charm of the game, and honestly, it's packed full of charm. I found it at times reminding me of watching a Saturday morning cartoon with its goofy dialogue and over-the-top self-awareness. Visually, the game gets better as it goes. And I know that sounds crazy, but it does, and it works. Not only does the game progress in visuals, but the puzzles get more elaborate and, well, way more difficult. At first, I could solve a puzzle no problem. Move object from point A to point B, and a door would open. I found myself struggling later and yearning for simpler times. In order to solve some of the more difficult puzzles, I had to traverse crazy obstacles, all while changing the season to fit accordingly. For example, in one area, I had to lock an object in place by using the winter season. Then, I would have to use the summer season to melt ice so I could move an object into another room. And these types of puzzles only become more difficult as you go.
Ooh.
I really was shocked by the game's progression. It was as if the developers were writing a script for a movie, but then halfway decided to make a game instead. The game isn't free of issues, though. There are minor issues such as screen tearing, NPCs not responding to completed quests, and a few glitches to some of the puzzles. Luckily, for the most part, these are all minor in the game, and I didn't experience any crashes or game-breaking bugs. Ari and the Secret of Seasons is a fun puzzle adventure game, light on the combat, with few boss fights. The game relies heavily on the story and its puzzles. It does these things well enough to keep you interested for the entirety of the game. There is some pacing issues, clearly, but the stale combat hurts it the most. Minor issues, though, isn't enough to bring this game down. When the music kicks off, and it is great, it packs a wonderful punch. Add in the surprisingly good voiceovers, sweet visuals, and you find yourself with a pretty good game.